Hey, how you doing? An off week? Well, let me make sure that's working. And oops, red light. Why is that not working? Turn on the time lapser. And it is a gray, lovely day. 46 degrees Fahrenheit according to car thermometer, 43 according to the Weather Channel in Mission Hills, Kansas. All right. Yesterday afternoon turned out to be a surprise. Had a tornado in our area. The southern part of Johnson County, Kansas. Bona fide tornado. People got video of it, and one person got real good up close video of the cage. You don't want to be in the cage with a bear. You don't want back is maybe at least a half fix on, maybe you take pictures, do whatever, but you being in the tornado will be the ones. And I can't think of anything worse. Do whatever they want. It's their body, their lives. They can throw it away if they want. That's not what's going to happen. Somebody's going to come and rescue you, and you're putting them in danger. Plus, you're taking that person away from people who did not choose to be in danger, who need rescuing, who weren't there sightseeing and being a tourist. Yeah, I have to say, by the way, my internet service provider is T-Mobile. If you want service such as this, give T-Mobile a call. But I was unawares, and even if I was aware, all I could really hope to do is an armchair chase, watch it on the radar. And because yesterday was my anniversary, and you know, the kids coming home and everything, I just couldn't. I got responsibilities. You know, that's one of the long time ago, about 2007, I was reading up on tips for storm chasers, and one of those tips was nobody is going to admire you if you just shuck all your responsibilities to chase. Do it when you can. Do it when it's possible. Don't quit a job or leave your family behind unprotected, you know. Oh, they could accuse me of that. There was that one tornado, the Linwood tornado, and the path came close to our house, and my wife and kids were going down to the basement, and tornado sirens, and they were kind of going, where is he? Why isn't he here? In my defense, though, I was watching it, and I was thinking, oh, if this gets bad, I'm going to run home. I can very quickly make it home if it gets bad there, and it never really did. I mean, the rotation was not, it didn't really happen around our house. So I was close by and I could see what was going on, what was happening, and it wasn't happening. Although it did reform and hit Clay County, the eastern part of Clay County, Excelsior Springs and things like that, places like that. But they didn't know it, you know. Sorry, I'm yawning. You would be yawning too. Look at this gray, yucky weather, and of course, you know, it's my night, and I haven't been sleeping very well. Yesterday, I was running around looking for a present or card for the missus. Ended up going to Hallmark. I was trying to go to Hammer Press, but I didn't realize that Hammer Press is not open on Mondays or Tuesdays. It's open Wednesdays through Saturdays, like noon to 5 p.m. I mean, their shop is open in those hours. They're in there and working. They are a working press, making things to sell everywhere and making things for clients and stuff like that. But their shop is not open to the public except those hours. I have to clarify that they're not working the feet hours. They are working. What's his name? Corey or Cody? I can't remember. Oh, the guy that owns the shop, the artist. He is a heck of a guy, actually. I've met him a couple of times. Swope Health. They must have just left because that's Swope. Yep, it says I'm streaming. I've kind of been learning the ins and outs of this thing. If I can't pull up the tabs for the chats, what the limits are on this. Mobile. I was going to say, I was going to clarify, excuse me, T-Mobile is not a sponsor. They are part of my plan that I can comparison. it's capped at 50 gigabytes, and then they say once you've exceeded your cap, I can experience interruptions and slow data speeds. And it does look like I'm experiencing interruptions and slow data speeds. Now, the answer might be that I could invest in a SIM card, that YOLO box. You can plug a SIM card directly into the YOLO box, and that might give me better speed, but I don't know how much that costs or if it's worth it, because right now I'm doing this just as a hobby, just for fun. For experimentation. I've been doing a lot of experimentation. It seems like a bazillion apps out there. Although I am looking for the one app that will allow me to live stream the front and the back camera on my phone. If I could find that, I probably would not use the YOLO box in the car. Well, I would. I have to correct that. I would use the YOLO box in the car because the problem with phones is that they overheat and then they quit. I love using my iPhone as a camera. The wide-angle camera on the iPhone is beautiful. The quality and everything on it. But after about 15 minutes of it sitting up on the dash and the windshield, I get a warning. Phone is overheating, will shut down. And when it shuts down, there goes my internet. It's funny, I got on the highway and now my internet speed is being very consistent. Although there's an area up here of real bad interference. We crossed I-70 yet? Yes, we have. It's right. We're right here in the area where there's bad interference. Oh, you gonna stay in your lane, please? And it's an unincorporated area of Jackson County, between the cities of Independence and the city of Kansas City, Missouri. And it's where all the a lot of RF energy is up there, because of where all the TV tower, well, not TV towers, but yeah, you know, towers and radio towers and everything. It's all in this one spot. And they do call it TV Hill or something like that, Television Hill. It's right here, as a matter of fact. I don't know how much that would have to do with if it does cause interference with broadband signals. But when you come through this area, no matter what radio station you're listening to, you will get crossbleed and interference from everything. Now, my experience has been that when we exceed our data cap, they don't just shut it down. They just kind of yell at you and say, you've exceeded your data cap. Now, when we've traveled and we were out of state, they have shut down my internet. my data on my phone. But I think that has more to do with exceeding the data cap and roaming charges, because when you've exceeded all that, it's costing them money, I guess. I don't know, because you're roaming in other people's territory. I don't know. I don't completely know how it works. Ruh-roh, bad boys, bad boys. But around here, when I exceed my data cap, so far as I know, it just keeps on going. It's just that you notice in a lot of places it drops out tremendously. Right now it's doing pretty good. I also noticed, like around the beginning of the month or so, or whenever it re-ups, boom, it's like a total difference of like crystal clear almost everywhere, hardly any drops. The thing that's distressing to me though is where it was dropping is what you might consider inner city. And you know, that talks to an overall thing of American culture where we don't do a whole lot of investment in underprivileged areas, poor neighborhoods, and you know, that's what they're calling the digital divide. I do believe that when these huge companies aren't willing or able to provide the service, that we should treat the internet like it's almost like our available to all equally. Look at that old Chevy. Old Chevy, that's how old I am. Drove around in a Chevy like that. I remember a 1967 Chevy Biscayne 2-door. Straight 6, 3-speed on the column, or as they would say, 3 on the tree. Manual steering, manual drum brakes on all the wheels. Power nothing. No power windows, power mirrors, or anything. You only got one mirror on the driver's side, I remember. It doesn't make sense to me. You'd think the mirror you'd want would be on that side. My dad say he bought it. We traveled from Guam. He came, we landed in San Francisco. He came and he picked us up in it at the airport. Me and my sister were so disappointed. It was like this ugly bomber car, had a big primer paint on the trunk lid. And I finally heard the story of the Chevy Biscayne, how they got it. My dad was in Florida and had very little time to get it together. You know, he didn't have a car, and he needed to go cross country and pick us up. So my uncle drove him around to the car lots, and kind of rushed and hurried, and he bought that Chevy Biscayne for $100, which is a lot more than it sounds now. But that was in 1973. He bought it for $100. And what did he say? It used to be a part of a fleet or something like that. Belonged to some sort of fleet. We've had a long history of owning old fleet cars or ex-government cars. Had a 1972 Dodge pickup, short bed, manual everything, drum brakes all the way around. Slant. My dad went to this auction, but the same specs, manual everything, 3-speed with overdrive on the government auction. And then drove those for a while. We had those. We sold the Chevy Biscayne for $50, and we had a Chevy Nova that he actually went out and bought from an owner, not a dealer, but from an owner. Paid a little more money for it. It was I think it was a 1970 Chevy Nova 4-door, 6-cylinder, 3-speed on the column. Love that car. Wish I had that car. And later he went to another government auction and bought an AMC Matador wagon, a 1977 American Motors Matador wagon. It too had manual everything, except I think it had front disc brakes, and we're advancing in the world, and automatic transmission. Oh, and the one car that they bought fairly new was a 1974 Ford Drino. They bought it in 1975. I believe it was a Hertz rent-a-car, and they had very low miles on it. Baby blue car. And my dad always hated that car. And then he bought himself a Ford pickup, like a 1978 Ford pickup. And that one was pretty fancy for us. Although it too did not have it had manual everything. Front disc brakes and cranker windows. None of this fancy button stuff that we have today. So yeah, times have changed. If I talk to a lot of people, this isn't even a memory for them now. A lot of people coming of age don't even remember a time when there wasn't power door locks and power windows, and the only time you'd ever have a car without air conditioning is if the air conditioning was broken and it was a beater car. But yeah, back in the 60s, 70s, it was common. It was very uncommon to see cars with power everything. And up until the 1970s, a lot of people did not even have air conditioning in their cars. And that was something that was kind of brought home to me when I went to visit the Philippines for the first time. And my wife's family car was a 1993-92 Mazda pickup truck, 4-door, which they never offered here in the United States. but it's very common in Asia and Asian countries. 4-door crew cab kind of deal, and a small pickup. Manual everything, no air conditioning, wasn't even a thought of in that car, wasn't provided, and manual windows, and they bought that one brand new. And when I visited, it was 2002. The thing was what, 10 years old? But man, that brought back memories, because in the Philippines, that hot, humid climate, you get in that car and it was like, you'd feel like you were melting. It's just, I didn't think I would be such a wuss when it came to the climate there, but here, you know, we're used to like the temperatures now, and it's like this half a year here, and then the summer, you know, it's hot here, but not the 1,000,000% humidity. And a lot of places there, you can't really escape it very well, because if they do have air conditioning, it's always on the very lowest setting. You know, there are a lot of places that don't have it, but you go into a restaurant and the setting would be like at 1. And they would still be like, oh, I'm freezing. And, you know, you're like stripped down to a t-shirt and shorts, and they're looking at you funny like, oh, you need to turn that fan down, it's too cold. I'm like, no. I'm burning up. I haven't been to the Philippines in a few years. 2016 was the last time we went, and I hope I don't get sick, because I finally mastered the art of going to the Philippines and not getting sick. That's weird. I'm seeing something on the camera. Like, maybe that's just the camera doing that. Maybe that's just the way I'm looking at the video, because I don't see it in the sky. I thought I was seeing like a patch of blue or something. Yeah, one time we were on the island, and they had what they call Walla Walla, which is their in January, it's their rainy season. And Walla Walla is like the winds are always blowing off of the ocean into land, and it's constantly raining. It's like these tropical rains, and you can see the palm trees doing this kind of thing. And I was thinking, man, is this a tropical storm or hurricane something? They were making fun of me because I was worrying about it. There wasn't a very good connection to the outside world, and I was worried that we were going to be getting hit by something and wouldn't get any kind of warning. But anyway, so it was what they call Walla Walla, and the winds come Walla Walla in. It's pretty good description. And temperature, I think one night when we were out on the beach with the family, got down into the upper 60s. And even I kind of felt a little bit of a chill to it. Oh my God, they were reaching for parkas. I didn't know where they found these parkas, but they were like Cartman and South Park. They're little Eskimo things. And I was still wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and they're looking at me, aren't you cold? And I'm like, no, this is nice for me. This is perfect. They're like, no, it's not perfect. It's freezing. Freezing? You don't know freezing. Sorry about the yawn. Yawn, yawn, yawn. I do see where it looks like, maybe I'm not imagining it, the sun is trying to come through. There's a holes in this cloud deck. Maybe by the evening it'll be sunny. It's supposed to get up into the 60s, I think. Yeah, I see a patch of blue right there. Just not my imagination. Well, it doesn't help if I'm looking at the playback monitor. I need to be looking at the real-time monitor. The playback, I'm like looking for, where is that? And it's like, that's like about a minute old. Oops. Duh. If you put instant coffee in a microwave, do you go back in time? I know when we get into this neighborhood, there's a spot where the internet drops to 0. And whenever there's a tornado, it seems like it always does a number on those wooden fences. I don't think yesterday's tornado was very strong. If it were strong, there'd be some people in serious trouble because, like I say, there's video of a guy driving right into it purposely. He's actually chasing it. with debris raining down on his car. I hope he knows what he's doing, because you know, when they say that like they call it a cold core tornado, which I'm not sure how much more different it is from a regular tornado, other than it forms in cold air. I don't know if there really is any difference, but they say that cold core tornadoes are usually weak, not very strong. So the wind was probably maybe 80, 90 miles an hour, which you wouldn't want to, but you can withstand that in a car. I won't recommend it. I've done it, and it's not fun. It's dangerous and scary. Don't try that at